Hello everyone, Features A32 back again with another deck review. Today we're looking at a Canadian themed deck of cards that was produced several years back, actually apparently 2005, by a Canadian company. And it is the Cards A deck. A. It's all about Canada and geography in Canada and their flags and provinces, and let's go check it out. A. Started for something a little bit different. Let me zoom in a little bit. Whoops. I apologize. Let's just get on with this here. This is the Cards A. It's a Canadian deck of cards. It actually has gold foil on the top case. It says Cards A. Apologize, I gotta read it. A unique deck of Canadian playing cards, 54 unique Canadian cards. Shuffle your way through Canadian geography, symbols, heritage, and other facts while enjoying your favorite card games. Canada in your hand. Nice gold foil. Just a standard tuck case though. It's printed by a Canadian company. You can see there's a map of Canada on there. Very shiny. And it says Cards A. Unique deck of Canadian playing cards on one side with a maple leaf. And the other side's the same thing except en français. Did have a little bit of damage. But it also was a deck I got on eBay that was used. Made in Canada, Fabrique en Canada on top with some maple leaves. And the bottom, it says from 2005, produced in Richmond, BC, with a barcode. And in the back, you see some of the faces, and there's a whole bunch of information. It says here, through the use of maps and traditional symbols, Cards A familiarizes players with Canadian facts and enhances their knowledge of Canadian geography. Cards A is a regular deck of playing cards that may also be used to create new variations to traditional card games simply by substituting the 4 standard suits with the Cards A alternate suits of cities, geography, coat of arms, and flags. Favorite card games may be played while learning about Canada. Cards A is a valuable educational tool at home and at school. Cards A makes a great souvenir. You might be able to find these on eBay if you're lucky. It is a little bit hard to find, and nothing on the flaps. So, there's a bunch of cards in here. First of all, there's some trademark stuff for the coat of arms that they used. As you can see, it's printed by JK Productions in Richmond, BC. I don't know if they still exist or not. And then the other side, you have the same thing, but in France. And then there is one. It talks about how to innovate your games using these cards. And then there's another one that has, they got a couple of instructions on games you can play with these cards, including Memory. And it's in French and English, and Snap. And then there's another card that lists all of our capital cities, mottos. They have the same thing in French. And then dates of entry Confederation, and the areas in square kilometers, not miles because we're Canadian. And same thing in French on the other side. And then you got a card that has the National Anthem of Canada, or what used to be National Anthem of Canada. The reason why I say that is because they changed it, much to the annoyance of some people, or they changed it from, where is it here? I can't recall. Alright, it's right at the very top, where it says, in all thy son's command. Some people thought, that's kind of sexist. And they changed it to, in all of us, thy command. I don't know why they put National Anthem of Canada upside down on the bottom. By the way, these are wild cards. As you can see, it says wild in the corner with the maple leaf. Fancy back design. It's very boring, plain. I mean, at least put a maple leaf on there or something. It just says Canada. And then there's also the anthem in French, if you wanted. It's a very one-way back design as well. And then we get to the actual cards. The spades has maps, and actually I had information on these somewhere, but you can see the ace of spades is a map of Canada, and then the others have maps of each province in a different color for the most part, and it shows you some of the cities, tells you when they entered Confederation. Some of these want to exit Confederation. Mostly this one and this one to some extent, and I mean also you could argue this one, and the territories as well up north. Funny thing, they got Nunavut, and then you got to flip it around to see the Northwest Territories. And then the hearts has the mottos, the coat of arms. The Canadian motto is "From Sea to Sea." British Columbia, "Splendor without diminishment." Okay. Alberta, "Strong and free." Saskatchewan, "For many people's strength." And you see a coat of arms. Manitoba, "That's why I am glorious and free." Ontario, "Loyal sea began, loyal sea remains." Quebec, "I remember." New Brunswick, "Hope was restored." Prince Edward Island, "The small under the protection of the great." And it is the smallest province in Canada. It's a little island. Nova Scotia, "One defends, the other conquers." Okay. And then here's one. Newfoundland and Labrador, "Seek your first the kingdom of God." The Yukon Territory doesn't have anything, and then you see Nunavut and Northwest Territories. And then you get onto the clubs, and it's maps, or it tells you the area of each province. So I'm not going to get into specifics. And it tells you bodies of water. Especially since it's in square kilometers, and some of you might not be familiar with that, especially if you're in the States. You'd be like, huh? And again, well, actually, it just says Northwest. None of it is upside down, none of it territory, but everything in the map is the right side up. Interesting. I guess it makes sense because before this all used to be Northwest Territories, and then none of it decided to split off for some reason. And then he got flags on the diamonds. And you can see there's some British inspiration because, well, we used to be part of Britain once upon a time. And our Canadian flag used to be like that as well before it became the maple leaf. Is that the best image they could do for the Nova Scotia? Put it on a flagpole. And then there you see the last ones. The cards are they embossed linen finished. And despite the one-way back with horrible borders, they are horrible, aren't they? They actually handle pretty good. It's actually a decent quality deck. I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, it's made in Canada, and it's kind of a souvenir deck. You'd expect it to be a little bit cheaper quality. But it's actually not. It's actually a pretty decent quality. It's educational. It's informative. And that is that. I'm going to give it, I don't know. For what it is, I'll say like 6.5 out of 10, I guess. It's an interesting deck. The back design lacks a lot. The faces are very informative and educational. It's got a lot of details about Canada, a lot of facts. It's good quality. But that's that. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And we'll see you next time for more. Thanks for watching.